Welcome, everybody. We are back to Workshop Wednesday. Today, we are talking through new ideas for staging services because you have to always be ready in season and out with different products and services for your staging company. So I want to make sure you're ready for that. Welcome, Jana. Welcome, Jennifer. We have Jana, obviously everyone knows, our fearless founder, owner of Model My Home, one of the largest staging companies, I would say, in the nation, definitely in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Then we have Jennifer here, our staging business advisor. So I'm super excited to talk through some things today. So welcome, ladies.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so now more than ever, we've gotten to be a little bit creative with our staging businesses, correct? And so it does not mean because things are changing. I mean, we've talked to some of our HSRA members who are so busy right now, they cannot breathe. And it isn't necessarily for your traditional vacant staging. A lot of them are doing short-term rental B&Bs. And others are really busy in consultations, but then there's some that their warehouse is ready to explode. And so they're having warehouse sales. So we can no longer gauge the type of season it's going to be. It used to be like, okay, summer, get ready because we're going to be super busy. Now it's everywhere. And so, Jana, I know you have spoken with a lot of our Excel members. You've talked to a lot of our HSRA members. What are you seeing as additional ways that you can continue to get the profits in, the phone ringing, even though the seasons might have been changed a little bit with what people are doing?
Yes, so that's a great point. And I know, Laurie, we are sensing, a shift in the air. When it comes to real estate, we have our hand in multifamily conversations. That is commercial versus residential, and what people are seeing with the interest rates and inflation. And is this going to have some type of bubble that's attached to it? We were just hearing, and you guys were on with me earlier this morning in a conversation that was saying like a 6 to 12 month, is there a potential, bust somewhere, but is it going to be, it's not going to be as bad as 2008. And it's just inflation. We know this, that as things go up, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. We're already seeing that properties are staying on the market a little bit longer. That property that might have sold in a couple of days, now it might be a couple of weeks, right? And so what happens is that's the indicator that if that same property is on now for a couple of weeks, then more inventory then gets to catch up with that, which means there's more competition, right? Which means that that 2 weeks turns into 3 weeks and on and on and on. So it is going to be a gradual shift. We do anticipate, which means that the staging companies that have stuck it out, right, and have fought through and been creative during this time, are really going to reap the benefits. We're hearing over and over again, staging companies that are selling, that are getting out of the business, and most of those aren't HSRA members. I think that the biggest thing that we have continued to provide as HSRA is information, and that's going to help businesses grow and scale and twist and turn to be able to navigate these waters. So if you're out there and you are a staging business owner, you work with a staging company, definitely tap into HSRA, myhsra.com, and you guys can be in that circle of conversation with us. That gets a little deeper, right? We get super deep, especially with those members that have been part of us. They're in daily conversations on our private Facebook group, and then we have group coaching and those type things as well, where these business owners are getting together. Our sales team members are getting together, our marketing teams. My marketing team can get in the same room with others that are north, south, east, and west, and collaborate on ideas so that we can have real-time adjustments. And yes, we can talk some creative ways to keep the dollars coming in the door. Model My Home, we just got off of a big sale of inventory, but we didn't see it as just a sale of inventory. We saw it as a marketing event. So we created some products and services that were able to, people signed up for, we were able to sell, upsell, and also, yes, we sold $13,000+ worth of inventory, but I was more concerned on us now selling our services, and then also creating that follow-up list and that follow-up campaign to really connect us and re-engage us to clients that maybe hadn't worked with us in a while, right?
Yes, that's so good. I was going to mention that as one of the things, but real quickly, for those of you who may not, who've been maybe living under a rock, don't know who Jana is, the thing I love is that Jana spends so much of her time investing in the real estate industry, learning, being licensed herself, investing in her own education and courses that she's learning, and she's able to bring this back to our HSRA members, which then positions them differently from their peers in the staging world, right? We're already having these conversations. Like, for instance, today, Jana had her real estate call where they're, on there talking about different deals that are going on and what they're seeing in the market and how things are fluctuating. So she is able to then prep our staging business owners on what's to come, what to be prepared for. And that's just another reason why being part of HSRA is so pivotal in growing a home staging business. And so it is true, we have to change, but in everything, things have to change. I just went from blonde to brown in a weekend, right? Things have to change sometimes, people, right? But knowing what staging services to have, when to have it, right? So when the pandemic came and people were just only willing to stick with the one thing that they love to do, right? Maybe that was vacant staging. If they refused to pivot into, consultations, virtual consultations, then they're going to go out of business, right? If they're just going to stick one way. For those people who are kind of scared a little bit about styling short-term rentals, if you're only open to doing vacant stages and not styling or staging short-term rentals, that's really going to affect your business. So maybe, ladies, we can kind of talk about that, making that decision to add a new service or to create an additional service. Like you said, Jana, you weren't concerned so much about how much furniture was sold. It was about the services that we were able to upsell. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit.
No doubt. And I know Jennifer, she is consulting with a lot of staging companies as well. And, for us, we have had all types of creative services. I think our team, and this is the great news about being a phase 3 business model, is that the business runs without me, and I hear things through the grapevine or maybe at a staff meeting. And I know that they just sold a $6,000+ service to go set up for some booths at maybe a trade show. And yes, it's going to be a Sunday install and maybe a Tuesday pickup. But how great is that, right? Like we can stage. It's like, what areas can you stage? Can you stage for the photo shoot or, the event that's coming up? Stage the stage for conferences. There are so many things. I mean, we literally have furniture, a lot of us running out our ears, and we're like, okay, what can we do with this? How to reinvent? I know another thing that our team talks about is just the room by room makeovers, right? So this is for occupied properties. These are for people that want that model home look to live in. And so to go in and collaborate with their furnishings and give them that makeover room by room, come up with your framework of charges, and you're able to literally put some packages together that somebody could possibly click and order once they fill out some quick guidelines and get some information. And so we're really thinking outside of the box when it comes to not just vacant staging, because the reality is I know in our area, and we're Dallas, Fort Worth, we have 38 different cities around us, and there's not a whole lot of vacant homes. So we had to shift, do more occupied, do more design and decorating projects, do more projects whenever the businesses call that need maybe something for a photo shoot, they need something for an event. Everything is a yes. It's just everything is figure outable, right? Like you figure it out, you figure out what your costs are, your hard costs, and then you're going to figure out the profit that you want to earn off of that, and you make it work. It may not be ideal, but guess what? It's dollars in the door, your team is working, and everybody is excited about the future, that we know this is going to change. But I don't think we should be prepared for going back to how we used to do business. I think this is now about services and products that can grow with the economy, grow with the environment, and you just have to find those new needs of your clients now. You have to start, you have to ask.
Yeah, that is so good. And I was just thinking about what you were saying and the additional services that you offer. I think about Paige from 29 Designs, one of our HSRA members, and she regularly goes on her Instagram to show just a vignette. Like someone literally had her come in and just redo her bookshelves. That was it. Right. And so it's those little things. And then she's able to have a conversation with that person. And then, oh, what's the next room you want to do? Right. And so that's so important. And thinking about staging business owners who actually have a location like Model My Home does, right, and renting that out on Peerspace. And one thing I thought of when you were talking, Jenna, I was like, man, they probably already do this, and Jennifer, you can confirm, but what about, yes, this is what the space looks like, and this what comes with it. But if you need something additional, that's an upsell. You need more chairs, you need folding chairs, you need a table, you want a certain vignette. Absolutely, we can take care of some centerpieces for you, no problem. That's only an upcharge of whatever. And so I think that's such a brilliant idea of going in to every conversation, every situation with an added bonus for them. And so that way you're continuing to sell your product. And so, Jennifer, when you're talking to our HSRA members, because you check in with all of our HSRA members once a month, they get a phone call from you, find out where they're at and what they're doing. And that's another way HSRA stays ahead of the game and knowing what's happening in our staging industry and how we can pivot. And we meet together. Jennifer will give us a download. Jana takes the information that she's getting from the real estate industry. We kind of chat through it, put a vision on it, and we put it out there for all of you. But Jennifer, what is some of the things that you're hearing from business owners that they are struggling the most with and changing their services?
I think the biggest thing that people have struggled with is getting out of that mindset of we've done it this way for so long. The vacant staging and occupied staging is kind of our natural go-to within the staging industry. But I want to encourage people to kind of go back to when you first started your company, and you probably didn't have a big warehouse, and you probably didn't have tons of inventory, and you were connecting with people on a deeper level. You were about building relationships and building that power base of clients that you want to reach out to. So I think that's probably one of the biggest areas of struggle is creativity and thinking outside the box. So one of the ways that you find the hidden opportunities is by just being out there and talking to people. So don't forget about things like your CE classes. If you're not a license to instruct, if you're not licensed to teach CE classes, we have the ability with an HSRA to connect you with an amazing company that can help you take all the legwork out of it for you. And there's also classes that are already approved and ready to go. And you can start teaching these CE classes, and you're not only contributing to the growth of the real estate community in your local area, but you're also making these connections and you're developing yourself as an industry leader. So I really think that that's a huge thing. I love that Jana talks a lot about indirect revenue and direct revenue, right? Not everything that we do has a direct road to revenue. Sometimes the things that you have to do as a staging business owner is an indirect road to revenue, but in the long run, it's going to lead to greater revenue for you. So getting out in your community, going to your real estate offices, making those calls. I mean, it's getting back to kind of the basics of what you had to do when you first started your company. And that may be you right now. Like, you may be just now starting your company. You may not have been in business for 3 or 4 years or 10 years, and you may not have had that time where now you're sitting here with a warehouse full of inventory. We're all at different levels, right? And so we want to honor where you are and just tell you, regardless of what level business you're at, connection is huge, and it's always going to be something that's going to benefit you in the long run, in the short run, and it's going to provide you with the opportunity to be in the right place at the right time to find these hidden gems that can help you kind of get outside of the box of vacant staging and start expanding your services.
Wow. Yes. So good and so true. Just a little bit of encouragement for people to hear when they are struggling through their staging business ups and downs. And here's the good thing to know is that every business, no matter what the economy is, has its ups and downs, but it's who you surround yourself with, how much you're willing to bend, how much you're willing to maybe invest, taking those big leaps of faith. I know Jana does it all the time. She's like, oh, I'm going to do it scared. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to, whatever that investment is or whatever that change is. And we brainstorm all the time for our staging industry to see how we can help them win in everyday situations in there. So back to you, Jana, and thinking about how people can start if they're only stuck to the big, I'd say the 3: vacant, occupied, and consultation. Those are usually the staples, right, in a staging company. What would you say would be the best thing that people should transition to or add to their staging services?
Well, we're a big believer, as you know, in short-term rental, and because we know the dollars are there. Now, also, there can be a lot of stress when it comes to those projects, and especially if there's multiple projects going on at one time. But we know that at the end of the day, our core service is design, decorating, staging. And so what needs that, right? So you have to just go back at vacant spaces, occupied spaces, and then we can also dovetail in those consults, the assessments, the inspiration and design boards for people that want to DIY projects. Those are the things that I think that any staging company can really figure out who their client is and what ideal services that will be able to create for them in this click and order world, in this Amazon world. If it is the birthday parties and that's going to be on site, if it's going to be someone that's renting one of your properties and they want the extras, how can they do that? And it's just another rev stream. So, selling furniture. We know people are having challenges and struggles finding furniture and with supply chain, but you may be a solution for them, right? And whether you're doing a cost plus 50, cost plus 20, they go pick it up, or you upcharge a delivery and you're able to put things together. And those are the things that creative companies, creative leaders are going to no doubt be able to invent a service or hear a service that another staging company in HSRA is. We're sharing all of these ideas consistently. They can pick that up, photo prep services, all types of makeover, 2-hour touch-ups, 4-hour facelifts, just service after service after service. But you have to market them. People have to know who you are. You have to get out. You have to do your social media behind it. You have to build your lookalike audiences. You have to know who your competition is so that you can also tap into their watch list, right? So a lot of marketing has to do. Many times we don't have a sales problem. We have a marketing problem. We think it's a sales problem, but it's just a marketing problem. design those services and then market the heck out of them. And you'll see that you'll be able to shift as you need to, and be able to have a success story and a testimony out of it that's going to help the other business owner coming down the pipeline.
That's so good and so true. And definitely, if you're watching this today or you're watching it later, we exist to build businesses and leaders, and we would love to have a discovery call with you. They'll put the link here. You literally can jump on a 30-minute call with Jennifer and I and talk through your business, what your struggles are, and we can kind of give you, a little recipe of suggestion of what you can do and what we've seen in our industry that has really, really worked. And lastly, I just want to ask, are you giving yourself an opportunity to grow this year as a staging business? Are you allowing yourself the opportunity to grow, to fail forward? If you try something and it doesn't take off, that's okay. As long as you pivot and try something new. I mean, there's been tons of things in every business that they have launched and it's failed. But the one thing that differentiated them from a successful business is whether they gave up or not. And we don't want you to give up. We want you to keep going, and we want to continue to provide opportunities for you to grow. And so as we wrap up today, we have an amazing opportunity for you to grow your business with some training that you can invest in. And stay tuned because we're going to play it right after this. But thank you, ladies, for joining today. We're going to be back same time, same place. Please reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation with you and check out this amazing opportunity for you to grow today.
Starting a home staging business can be tough, but the good news is we're here to help. That's why we've created the Business Bundle Workshop. It's actually a 4-part mastermind series that's going to address any of the challenges with the 4 main departments in your staging business. It's marketing, sales, services, and logistics. If you're looking to start a business or maximize the growth of your business, this is where you need to be. Register now and join us for this 4 mastermind series. We're going to help you pinpoint the challenges and optimize your growth. Get your ticket today.